All right, so welcome back to another episode of In the Woods with James. I guess today I should say In the Garden with James. I'm going to be showing you a little bit of my kind of vegetable flower garden I have going on here at the farm, and we'll just kind of go from there. I'm going to try to plant a couple more green beans today. I'll show you some of the flowers that are kind of growing, and we'll just have a fun time in the garden. So let's just kind of walk through real quick and I'll show you what I got planted so far. So right here I have two double rows of sweet corn. I think there's some sweet corn growing already. Let's see. So right there, boom, there's another one. So they're already starting to come up. I planted this about 7 or 8 days ago. And then hopefully the rest of them will keep coming up as well. I was walking down earlier and I just saw a lot of things coming up. After my sweet corn, I have about 8 or 10 mounds of squash, of yellow squash growing. Haven't seen any of those sprouts pop up yet. Should be any day now. And then my next row, I have 2 rows of planted green beans, and then I'm fixing to plant 2 more. Here we go. We can see a little green bean sprout coming up right there. And I just saw another one, if I can find it again. Oh, there's some more right here. So, boom, green bean, boom, green bean, and green bean right there. So we got sweet corn, yellow squash, green beans. I'm gonna skip a couple rows. I haven't planted nothing there yet. And then I'm gonna be right here. I have some zucchini planted. I have about 6 or 5 mounds of zucchini going. We love to eat zucchini and squash in our house. We love to cut it up and then throw it into the oven. And then after that, I have a little bit of space. I haven't done nothing yet. And then I have some okra planted. Haven't seen any of those sprouts come up yet. But I'm hoping for those. And then after that, I have a lot of flowers. I'm gonna hop back onto the vegetables. We'll come back down here and I'll show you the flowers after that. So I was already planning on doing a garden early this winter, getting it started in the spring, doing vegetables and flowers, and all this kind of growing stuff popped up. And my first thought was, man, we need to get our vegetable garden going, right? Never know when vegetables or the store might run out of stuff, and I want to have some vegetables that we can put up. My second thought was, what was it like during the Great Depression, as well as kind of the World War II era? What did our grandparents and great-grandparents do? And so I was going to try to do a lot of the gardening the same way they might have, by only using minimal equipment. So the only thing that I've done so far in this garden is we tilled it under and used a tiller. So I was thinking, you know, back in the Depression, they might have had a tractor come through the area, and that might be the only thing they had done was have the tractor till the dirt under, and the rest they had to use by hand tools, whether it's hoe and rakes and things like that. And so that's all I've done is every time I've planted, I've marked it off with string, and then I take my hoe and I just hoe a row kind of right next to that string so I can keep everything straight. And that's what I've done this entire garden, and that's been pretty fun to see what it was like to really do it without any kind of planting tools. All right, so I'm gonna plant some green beans. I'm planting some bush beans. If you're planting in, say, a raised bed, maybe I would use pole beans. That way they grow up on something and you get more abundance out of that. But I've got long rows, so I'm gonna plant bush beans. My rows are about 20 inches apart. I'm gonna plant the beans about 4 inches apart, which is roughly about the width of my knuckles across. And I'm gonna put about 1 or 2 beans every 4 inches all the way down on both rows, and then we'll cover those up. All right, so I got them all planted. 1 bean, 2 beans every 4 inches. I'm gonna come back with a rake and I'm just gonna rake them all over and we'll just keep on trucking along. All right, so all the beans are covered up. We'll give them a little bit of water here in a little while, and then about 7-10 days, we'll start seeing some bean sprouts coming up out of the ground. I'll probably save one more row to do, so I can have 1 through 5 rows of beans. That'll be plenty to eat some fresh, as well as blanch some and freeze some, put them in the freezer, so we can have them the rest of the year. All right, so typically this is all flower garden. I haven't done vegetables, and at least I haven't done vegetables up here ever. We did flowers all last spring and fall, and then this is his first year doing some vegetables again. So I got a lot of kind of volunteer flowers growing up here at the top where vegetables are. I'm gonna have to weed out all of them things. Once all my vegetable sprouts coming up, I can start figuring out, hey, what's a flower and what's a weed and what's a vegetable. So I'm gonna start down here where the flowers are. We're just gonna walk it, and I'll tell you what we got, and I think I'm gonna have to maybe throw out a few more seeds on some of these other spots. All right, so this first one, you can kind of see the green already. It's kind of a mix of flowers, zinnias, cosmoses. I think there might be one other flower that was in that mix, but I'm not sure. So after that one, every single one of these stakes is it's going to be a flower row, at least starting here. So we have just 1, 2, 3, about 4 rows of dwarf sunflowers. Haven't really seen any sprouts of those coming up. And then we have some autumn beauty sunflowers, some velvet queen sunflowers, some more autumn beauties, and then I put 2 rows of the kind of the giant gray stripes. I've seen a couple of those popping up, and those are gonna be really cool. All this is gonna be really beautiful, all these sunflowers. And after that, I have about a 30-inch row right here of Mexican sunflowers. They put out these big orange flowers. Then I have a 30-inch walkway. Then I'm coming down, and then I have about another 60-inch row of cosmoses. I think I'm gonna have to throw some more seeds out right here. It's kind of sparse. And then I have another 30-inch walkway. And then I put in another 60-inch kind of row of zinnias. You can kind of see it's kind of like an L. Can you kind of see my finger goes up that way? At least all these flowers do. And then another walkway, and then a nice big flower mix. You can see this coming in really good. Then on this back side, so here's the flowers we just saw. I just kind of told you about, kind of the L's. And then I started doing some more sunflowers back here. I think I have gray stripes as well as some dwarf sunflowers. I thought I saw one popping up earlier. Let's see if I can see it, and I'll show you one. Here we go. So we got sunflower, boom, sunflower. So all down this row. So this should be looking really cool here in the next couple months. So sunflowers are anywhere from what, like 90 to 120 days. So it'll be a while before we see these. Hopefully the farm can be open again by that time, and you guys can come and enjoy all these sunflowers. Vegetable wise, anything from green beans run 50-60 days so you can see anything, and that corn is probably what, like 90 days. So it'll be a while before you get to see any vegetables come off here, but just something cool. I'll bring you along as the kind of journey continues, and you can kind of see how this garden progresses. So I'm going to go ahead and restart a couple of seeds, some cucumbers and tomatoes. I had started some in some cups. You can see them right here about 8 days or so ago. I'm still hoping they pop up, but I'm going to go ahead and grab some nice compost dirt and see if I can't restart them, and see if maybe those will come up, plus these other ones, and I can just have abundance of cucumbers and tomatoes. So with those things, we'll take those cucumbers, we'll eat a lot in our salads, as well as we'll pickle some and have some different kind of pickle varieties to munch on. Tomatoes, salads, all different kinds of foods we'll eat them in, as well as we'll take some, we'll make some salsa for pizzas or for making spaghetti. All right, so I just planted some more cosmoses and Mexican sunflowers, kind of sprinkled them out there, got them wet. Hopefully the sun will do its job and get them going. Just turning the water on to get these beans and everything else up here some more water for the day. I'm gonna leave that running for a little while. I'm gonna go do a couple more things, and I'll come and turn this back off. I just want to encourage you, hey, if you got a garden at the house and maybe you haven't planted it in a while, or maybe your grandparents got one, I encourage you to go get you some plants and get it going. Be a great time. I kind of looked at the weather and said I'm going to go ahead and plant a little early, and hopefully my luck will be right and it no more frost. And but hey, great time to start now. Learn how to plant vegetables, grow your own food, and just live the good life. So that's a wrap for In the Woods with James today, or In the Garden with James. Get out there, garden. Let me know what you got going. Share some pictures if you got your garden going already. Hey, let's do it. Let's get some vegetables growing, and we'll catch you on the next one.